3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in the halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all in. The darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie, and 1 podcast to rule them all. Hello, I'm Michael Thrax, and this is the Neon Nightcast podcast. I am I am joined tonight, like always, by my co-hosts Garrett Zagri and Eric Dr. Soybean.
Thanks, or as I like to call the two of you, the Adagio Dazzle and Area Blaze to my Sonata Dusk.
Yeah, okay. I
Got
know.
no fucking clue on that one.
It was stupid My Little Pony, I think. Anyways, I almost
Jesus.
made it through that entire intro without messing up my words, but you know me.
You fucked up a little bit. It's
a little
okay.
bit there. A little bit. Yeah, that's just how I talk, man.
It wouldn't be Michael without the tiny little hiccups,
Yeah, like with Ricky in Trailer Park Boys, his Rickyisms, it's Mikeyisms.
There you go.
So, anyways, tonight's episode on the Neon Nightcast podcast is we're gonna talk about a little bit about a little indie book called The Lord of the Rings, the trilogy. You know, this guy wasted his time writing what 6 books, 3 books altogether.
He wrote, I think it was 6 that were involved with the.
But the main one was 3 books, like the 3.
Oh well, like the main trilogy, yeah. But then his main trilogy, The Hobbit, and then something that explains a shit ton of the lore called the.
I want to say the Silmacrum or something.
Silmarillion.
There you go.
Or something. It's really hard to pronounce for me.
I literally thought it was 6 books because they broke The Hobbit up in 3 movies, but it's just 1 book.
Yeah, The Hobbit was 1 book, and it was shorter than any book of Lord of the Rings. And for some reason, they decided to break The Hobbit up into 3 movies.
Yeah,
which makes
probably
no
just to make money.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the quest for more money.
To make money, but could have been done in 1 movie.
Could have been done. So, anyways, yeah, we're not talking about The Hobbit tonight. We're talking about Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. I mean, The Hobbit could be involved a little bit in this. It's got Frodo's uncle.
Dildo Baggins.
You got it.
Got dwarfs and a dragon.
Yep, it's got Smaug.
So,
however you pronounce his name.
Smaug? Anyways, Lord of the Rings, the first book, what is it called? Fellowship of the Rings, and it's about
the Fellowship of the Ring. There's 1 ring, Mike.
Yeah,
it's not the Lord. I mean,
yeah.
It's Lord of the Rings, but it's Fellowship of the Ring. Good.
And,
got it.
Yeah. What's the one guy? I'm gonna say Boromir. Is he the one that betrays them?
Boromir never betrays them. There's really not a whole lot of betrayal going on other than Saruman.
The main villain.
No, Sauron's the main villain. Saruman is the White Wizard that lives
also, I think
Osgiliath or something like that. Not Osgiliath. Osgiliath's right next to fucking that one place.
I that's one thing that always bugged me is the 2 villains. Their names are too similar.
Yeah, like it was because I watched the movies first. So whenever they would say Saruman and Sauron in the movies, I would be so confused who they were talking about.
I was a child when that came out, and it was like, I don't know what. Like, I don't know. So out of the books or movies, what's your favorite out of the 3? We'll start with you, Garrett, like always.
I feel like mine would be the 2 Towers, because in the 2 Towers you have some of the best like fight scenes. Although I'm not sure if I think the Battle of Minas Tirith, which is the absolute best fucking war battle scene ever created. I think is in the 3rd movie.
Oh, okay.
It's the one where
the elephants?
Do you know? No, that's also the third movie. Man, there's just a lot of good fights.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. But yeah, that's also the third movie. The Plane of something. But Minas Tirith is whenever Aragon, Legolas, and Gimli all go to Rohan and try to get Rohan's help, and then they decide to basically evacuate the entire population of Rohan or whoever they can find to Minas Tirith, and because Minas Tirith has never fallen in its history, or so it's claimed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's actually the opening scene, I think, in the third video game, Return of the King. The very first mission is Minas Tirith. But anyway, so Sauron sends his orcs to Minas Tirith, and fuck, lost my train of thought.
It's just a good fight.
Yeah, it's great. No, wait, I'm thinking of Helm's Deep
Yeah, that's okay.
this whole time.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
shit.
the second movie. I
Helm's
thought
Deep.
that's what you were
Holy
talking about.
fuck.
The rainy castle, and they got like the old men with the bows and arrows.
Jesus Christ, it's been
Well,
so
didn't he
long.
say? Well, didn't you say that the second movie was your favorite anyways? So that makes sense.
Yeah, the second movie is my favorite because, like I said, it has the best battles.
Yeah.
And it's even got the ones with the Ents, the trees.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
they
They
fuck up
go-
all those orcs.
Yeah, they fuck up all the orcs. They flood the tower where Saruman is,
And they have like
or
the
Thank,
forges
or whatever.
and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They have like the forges.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
where basically all the Urukai were forged. It's really weird. There's a lot of fucking lore that goes into this.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the Urukai, which are humans, I believe. Yeah, that's where they're forged. Was under Orthanc, under Saruman's purview. But yeah, so Helm's Deep. Sorry, I gotta get back to Helm's Deep because it's the best. So they evacuate everyone to Helm's Deep in Rohan, and like they have these sappers, suicide bombers that go in and blow up the walls of Helm's Deep, so orcs just start fucking rushing in, and they're like, oh, well, this is over. Like we lost. Like fucking fall back to like the smallest keep of the keeps, and right as soon as they're about to be destroyed, Gandalf arrives.
Gandalf the White.
Gandalf the White.
Not the Gray.
He finds, so basically what happened was Theoden, King of Rohan, basically was under Saruman's power and basically sent his nephew, which was the heir, away because the heir was like starting, I think, to see through and see that Theoden was
Corruption.
being controlled. Yeah. And Gandalf basically goes and finds Theoden, or not Theoden, Theoden's nephew. Can't remember his name. But anyway, I'm trying to look for it. Oh, Jesus. Ah, shit. Anyway.
Go on.
He takes them and basically just makes the Uruk-hai and orcs rout.
Yep.
From Helm's Deep. Great battle. Fucking wonderful. You see dwarves get thrown.
Never throw a dwarf, or whatever he says. Yeah, he gets fucking triggered over that, man.
He says never throw a dwarf, but then he's like, you're gonna have to throw me.
Yeah. The second, Eric, it's Eric's turn. That's the turn.
Sorry, I went on a tangent.
That's
no
all
big deal.
right.
It's all good.
We love tangents on this podcast.
So my favorite movie, well, I gotta say, first of all, it's been a while since I've seen any of these movies, and second of all, in a way, I kind of think it's less three separate movies and more three parts of one very long movie.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could really choose any one of the three that I could point to as a favorite. I got to give it a lot of props and give Tolkien a lot of props for inspiring Gary Gygax to create Dungeons and Dragons, which in turn inspired every RPG that any of the three of us have ever played, essentially.
I don't think you could count the number of people that Tolkien inspired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, I really don't think I could choose a favorite. I will say maybe the last part might be my least favorite. I still like it a lot, but I feel like the last one really amped up the Mr. Frodo. Oh, Sam.
Oh God! All right, we can talk
their
about Frodo. We can
relationship.
talk about Frodo in a minute, but
Yeah.
Oh, Sam. But
Jesus. God
yeah.
damn.
So I'll throw it to Mike.
All right, I think I'm gonna have the most controversial opinion. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I really just like.
But you
I appreciate what it did for, first of all, fantasy isn't really my favorite kind of genre, like medieval stuff. And
says the person who played WoW religiously for like 8 years.
WoW's,
Okay.
but WoW's not like typical medieval, where this is
Yeah,
like
but without Lord of the Rings, there would
full-on.
never have been a WoW.
Okay, and I said I appreciate for what it did for everything. That's not I'm not saying that. I'm not discrediting for what it did. It just never really did anything personally for me. If you want to talk about favorite movies, I guess I have to go with the third one. I like when the guy gets like the ghost army.
Aragon.
Aragon gets the ghost army because he becomes like the one true king or whatever.
He was the heir of Isildur.
I really like I'm a moments kind of guy, and I really like when Frodo's fucked up and he's like, I can't do this anymore, and Sam's just like, I can't take the ring, but I can take you, and like
I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you.
That's just like
And they play that theme. They play the theme from The Bodyguard as he's like carrying him.
That's
And
just
you see in Sam's pack, there's a rainbow flag.
That's just such a fucking great line and like moment.
But you did mention, I got to bring up, because you mentioned that, like, okay, you like the movies, but you're not a fanboy. I like the movies. I wouldn't call myself a fanboy either. But man, when those movies came out, there were some people who were obsessed with those movies. And there was one specifically, there was this friend of mine who used to give me and Mike a ride to school pretty much every day. And his younger sister, who I think was maybe a year older than you, Mike, was fucking obsessed with Lord of the Rings. And she found on a file sharing network, it was like a song that got cut from the movie that was like a Hobbit drinking song. So it's this 2-minute long, shitty little folk song. And she would make him like play it in the car, and she would listen to it like nonstop at home, to the point where he like raged to me about it one day about how much he fucking hated it and never wanted to hear it again.
That's when one of my old roommates fucking snapped at me because I watched The Office nonstop for like a year.
You're just tired of hearing it.
Much offices can be bad for you.
But anyways, that moment is just like that's what the whole thing of like the relationship of like Sam being there.
All right,
That's
so
his story arc. That's his purpose.
I wanna talk about Sam and Frodo because in the movies, Frodo's such a bitch. Like Frodo makes you hate him. Elijah Wood did such a good job of making me hate Frodo in the movies.
I think that's the point, right? Is because
but in the books, like I didn't feel like that at all about Frodo. Like Frodo wasn't like a pushover in the books like he was in the movies. He wasn't such a bitch. It might just be Elijah Wood's impersonation of him. But in the books, he was a different character. I feel.
All joking aside, I actually don't believe that they're gay. I think just people are cynical now, and they think that any close male friendship means they have to be fucking each other.
They're not gay. They're not gay.
Sam
it's
has
like
kids.
Sam
got married at the end.
They're fucking literally walking into hell, and like they only have each other. Like
there is a little bit too much, Mr. Frodo.
But Okay, so with Frodo, in the beginning, in the first movie,
Like, he loves him so much.
he
But
does.
yeah,
In
go
the
on.
first movie, Frodo's really likable, and he does try to be brave. Like, he gets stabbed twice, but one time he has the chainmail or whatever.
Yeah.
But as the story progresses, he becomes less likable and whatever. And I think they kind of did that on purpose because he is getting basically corrupted by the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's exactly what happens, and that's how they tried to make it look.
Yeah.
And they did it well, but in the books,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't like it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as obvious, and that's why I didn't feel like Frodo was such a bitch in the books. But yeah, in the books, it's obvious he's still like being fatigued and worn down by the ring.
Yeah.
But
But
you couldn't hear him whining though. So
exactly, you couldn't hear him whining. You couldn't see the bitch face that Elijah Wood has. So I guess that's why in the book
Ah,
he wasn't as bad.
my cat's attacking my foot.
you know one thing I really want to give this movie props for, and I'll bring it up now because I can't see where else to bring it in, is Gollum uh, is an amazing piece of CGI.
Okay,
And
Oh
for
I
yeah,
shit on.
CGI, yes, but
Well, hold on,
I hate him as
on.
a character.
Well, you're
you're
supposed to,
supposed to. Yeah, he
but
did his job.
he did his job. And the thing, like, I shit on CGI in modern movies a lot because 99% of the time it does not look as good as well done practical effects. But I guess because this movie had such a big budget, and maybe also because they cared so much about it, they actually did a really amazing fucking job on him.
Well, they had him in like the actor in like a suit and shit, and
Yeah, Andy Serkis. Like Andy Serkis is one of the best actors. Like, because even in Planet of the Apes, he plays Caesar in
yeah.
Planet of the
Well,
Apes. Like,
I'm
he wears
not
a
talking
bodysuit,
about
so it's also
the, like, his acting is amazing, but I'm talking about like the effect itself.
Well,
Like,
I feel
it
like
does not look like most CGI. When you look at it, you can instantly tell it's fake just because your eye picks up very easily that it's something that's
well,
not really there.
I think in
But with
older CGI and like modern CGI, it's really hard to tell.
it's
I can
easier.
still tell, man. I can still tell. Like, to me, practical effects they're so much more convincing because it's an actual physical object, and your eye is very easily able to tell the difference between a real object and something
It's
that's fake.
easier to uh for so in Lord of the Rings they had a physical thing that they were basically tracing over, and they had his facial movements that they were tracing over, where it's like, oh, Jumanji, they're just like making a CGI rhino. Like they had a physical thing there, so that's why it looks way better.
Well, I also think they poured a lot of money into it because it doesn't
Yes,
look
yeah, they
cheap.
did. Yeah, there's a couple of things like so like I know in the Dark Knight, when Harvey Dent becomes Two Face, that looks really outdated now.
Yeah,
But for the most
Yeah,
part,
Lord of the Rings still
anything
holds up.
from like 2010 and up, I think it all looks pretty good still.
You know what the problem was is it with it is though, it's like you said, like it becomes dated. Like, if a practical effect is cheap, then it always looks like shit. Like, it looks like shit the moment the movie's released. But if it looks really good, then it's never going to become dated. Like Gremlins, for example, other than maybe one or two scenes, it still looks convincing, and that was 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Whereas shit with CGI made 10 years ago, a lot of it now looks like crap.
I think at a point CGI uh just won't look dated because it's good enough. Like
I
when you
don't
look
know.
back to like older
I disagree
movies,
because you can
it's
always tell when it's CGI. Like, the second you look at it, you think
well,
that's
everyone
CGI.
always says that
I think like
Star Wars
I
episode.
think that Eric thinks that it's real and doesn't realize that it's CGI in some effects. Honestly, that's how I
No,
feel.
like yeah, and everyone says
Maybe
like
maybe I'm fooled by stuff.
everyone
I'll
goes
cop to that.
Star Wars Episode 1 is so shit because it was all CGI, but then it comes out that a lot of it was practical effects.
Right, but the stuff that looks the worst and most dated is the CGI.
Yeah, but A lot of scenes that
Anyways,
people
I
said
really
was
didn't want to.
crappy CGI.
I really
practical
didn't want to go
effects.
off on a huge tangent about CGI. I was just making the point that Gollum is a very well done piece of CGI, especially considering that movie came out like what 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's not that it doesn't look dated is even a greater testament to it.
So, anyways, to answer the question, I would have to say the third movie, just because
Alright.
it's the end. So let's
You also like the ghost just destroying
yeah,
the elephants?
yeah, that was awesome. Um, so let's talk about what the first book. You want to talk about the first book, boys?
I mean, we might as well
First
go in
book slash
chronological order,
We
right?
might as well. So the first book is the introduction. They explain what happened, the rings, blah blah blah. It introduces your main characters: Aragon, Gandalf, Sam, Pippin, Merry, Frodo, Aragon,
You already
dwarf.
said that. Stop, Mike.
What's the
You're done.
dwarf?
You're
I
good.
missed.
You're
Oh,
good,
I
Mike.
got all of them but the dwarf.
Do you want to name just the 9 in the Fellowship?
That's the main characters of the entire story.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like you missed some.
What's the dwarf's name?
Gimli.
Gimli. Farts.
I like how Gimli's like he's like let's just destroy it and tries to like hit it with his axe and it
Yeah.
like explodes.
And it's like, well,
Destroys his axe.
you think we didn't fucking try that, moron?
Yeah.
Hey man, dwarves aren't known for their smarts. All they want is gold and more gold and to fight.
I know. I'll tell him. I'll give him that. In the main villain, what's his name? Saruman,
The wizard or the ring guy?
the ring guy.
Sauron.
Sauron. He looks fucking badass.
Yeah, he does. Like, yeah,
He looks
his armor
amazing.
looks really cool. Did you know that Sauron was once an elf? I think.
I was just gonna ask, what the fuck is his backstory? Like, why was he able to make? Why was he able to make the rings, and like, why?
Oh
Why
wait,
is he
I'm
so
sorry.
powerful?
Fuck. Okay, so this gets into some really, really deep lore. So, Gandalf, all the wizards. So, in The Hobbit, they showed Radagast, the Green Wizard, or whatever the fuck he was, the one
Never
that
saw
has
Hobbit.
the sled that is pulled by rabbits or whatever. So all the wizards, good and bad, are called like Einer or something like that. Oh god. Okay, so they're like angels.
Okay.
And so, oh fuck, I'm trying to find it. But so they're all angels and the bad guys are like demons or some shit. And yeah, so the Einer are the angelic powers of his myth, created by like a god, basically.
Okay.
And then so there's bad guys also, and there's this one bad guy named Melkor. And Melkor was the strongest of these angels, and basically got corrupted, became Morgoth. Um, and under Morgoth, he basically just gathered steam, created a burning legion of sorts. Um,
Oh.
and yeah, and Sauron was just one of his like lieutenants.
Okay.
So
I
yeah,
gotta,
so like
I gotta
all
recall.
these like super like mega powerful beings are not of Middle Earth. Like even the elves aren't of Middle Earth. Like the elves in the last movie, it shows them all leaving to go back to where they originally came from. Um,
Oh.
so what happened was Sauron met this one elf who was like a master smith or some shit named Celebrimbor, and Celebrimbor basically is the guy that forged all the rings.
Yep.
And yeah, well,
Because
I don't think he actually forged the one ring. I think Sauron forged that himself, but all the other ones were forged by
so
Celebrimbor.
so these rings that they gave to the world leaders or whatever, like, what
Elves,
is it?
dwarves, and
Just to
humans.
just give you dominance over like your race?
So no, so the rings gave you certain powers. Like Gandalf has a ring, and
What?
his yeah. So and his ring was one of the Elvish rings, and Galadriel had a ring. Galadriel was in the first movie. Whenever
Yeah.
they go to
Was
that
that hot chick?
forest, yeah, the one that gives Frodo that potion
The
of light or
scary
whatever.
one, right?
Oh,
The what? Yeah, and she only gets scary because that's if she gets corrupted by her ring or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, Gandalf's ring, I forgot what it's called. But anyway, his allows him to travel long distances and not get tired. Like
a
it's
ring of
basically
teleportation plus one in
no,
D&D
it's
No, it
terms.
doesn't teleport.
no, it doesn't teleport.
Oh,
It just makes it's like a ring of coffee.
So
He
that's
doesn't he doesn't get tired,
a
and
ring of
that's
Monster Energy drink for the millennials out there.
hmm.
yeah. And I think his is yeah, his just makes you not get tired. I think.
So my question is, do you fall under the theory of Gandalf dying on purpose? Like, there's
Um,
like a theory that
Well, you're skipping ahead books here, aren't you?
no,
that's in the first book.
that's in the
Is
first
that
book.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gandalf was like, there's like a theory I think where it's like, if he knew if he killed this demon or whatever, basically he would be allowed to be like reborn as the White.
See, like some people equate Gandalf killing Balrog, the Balrog, to him leveling up in a sense, and so
Oh.
Gandalf essentially died fighting the Balrog.
Yeah.
Like they both died, and the Balrog is just another one of these like I'm gonna keep saying Burning Legion because that's the closest thing that I feel the listeners and Michael will understand
Yeah.
because it's a WoW reference of sorts. And like he's just another one of these lieutenants in the Burning Legion type thing. He might even be lieutenant. He might be a fucking grunt for all I know. But and Gandalf is an Ainur, an angel, so he died. Like
Yeah.
Gandalf, Gandalf actually died, but then once he returned to whatever the fuck
They're like
their
plain.
heaven, yeah, their
Yeah.
plane. That's a good term. Their plane. They basically said, we're gonna give you more power because we realized that Saruman, who was an Ainur, who was an angel, was supposed to be a good guy, is fucking up. So, you can go and deal with that. We'll give you
Yeah.
some extra power, basically. That's my understanding. It's probably a lot more complicated than that,
Yeah.
but that's the way I've understood it. Because I've never read the Silmarillion, that one.
I feel like he probably knew what he was doing. Like it kind of like I know in the movie it kind of seemed like he could have gotten away, but he was probably like, I kill this thing and I'm gonna be that's some like good karma for me, so I can come back as a stronger wizard or a lighter color of a wizard or shade sword. Also,
I'm not sure it was that linear in Gandalf's mind. I'm pretty he because I mean he didn't mean to fall into the pit. I don't think with the
he looks so
Balrog.
feeble when he falls.
Dude, he's fucking. It's Ian McKellen, one of the greatest actors, along with Pat Stu.
So the one more thing I wanted to talk about for the first movie slash book was the guy that dies. He like tries to take the ring from Frodo,
Boromir.
Boromir. So there's like literally there's like no character like getting to know him or like development or anything with this guy. He's just there. He kind of says some grumpy things. He like attacks Frodo, and then the orcs
That
come, and then he's like, everyone leave, and he like dies, and he's all heroic, and he's getting stabbed and shit. But it's like,
okay.
and I
You got
remember
a couple
people,
things wrong.
no, but I remember people being like, it was so heroic and badass. But it's like you don't know the character, so it doesn't mean anything.
So, you learn if you watch the director's cut of the movies, you do learn about him and his background. So Boromir was the son of the like can't remember the term they use. The steward. He's son of the steward of Gondor, and the stewards are basically ruling instead of the king since there
Yeah.
is no king. And all he wanted to do, man, all he wanted to do with his life was just end
Just
the
have some
orcs.
fun.
I mean, he just wanted to end the orcs, killing his friends and family, killing his countrymen. Because
Yeah.
Osgiliath, so there's Minas Tirith, and then across the river there's Osgiliath, and then like a short hop, skip, and jump away from that is the Black Gate, which leads into like Mordor. So Minas Tirith is extremely close to Mordor, which is where the orcs tend to
Sounds like they should
gather.
all move.
Yeah, well, yeah,
uh,
it's fucking giant city, Mike. Um, so yeah, all Boromir wanted to do was just like somehow save these people in the Ring of Power. I mean, it has a mind of its own. Like it corrupts people.
yeah. No, I know.
So
I just I don't think that's really like okay. I don't know. I just want to say like I feel like it wasn't portrayed well enough in the movie.
yeah, they could have done a better job, but I mean, they've only got so much time.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
And
you can't. The movies are
that's
already long as hell.
if
Yeah.
you
You probably
realized who the actor that played Boromir was, Sean Ben, you realize that all he ever does is die. Rip Ned Stark, rip Boromir, rip Sean Ben. Sean Bean. Sorry, not Ben. Sean Bean.
Man, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
All right. Do you have anything
um,
to say about book one, Eric, or movie
No,
one?
sir. Well, I think it's more appropriate for book two, if that's where we're moving
Well,
on to.
let's lead us
Um,
into the book
let's get
movie
it.
two. There.
well, okay, I got to bring this up. See, I'm getting them all mixed up in my head now, but movie two is the one where they introduce the giant eagles, correct?
No, that's movie three.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
right at the
very
end.
end
That's
of the
they
third
kill
movie.
the ring and Gandalf's like, "Hey, eagle friends, go pick them up."
Oh
No,
wait,
where they were first introduced.
no, he's right. That is when they're first introduced because Gandalf whispers to the butterfly.
Right. So I have to bring this up.
Oh.
I have to bring this up because they bring this up in the movie Clerks 2, and I'm sure other people have brought this up, and there's got to be an answer. But they say in that movie, they're like, why don't they just ride the fucking eagles all the way to the volcano?
Because it's about the journey.
That's what they
So,
say in the movie too.
Yeah.
so, um, technically, the eagles are also of a higher plane than so they're magical beasts, almost like the ants, except the ants aren't beasts.
Mm.
And but even I guess even higher than the ants because what I heard, and I heard this from someone who read the Silmarillion or whatever, the eagles were not allowed to interfere in the conquests, the quests of men and
See, I
manly
figured there
things.
had to be some
Yeah. I
explanation for
always
that.
saw it as like Gandalf was kind of like he wasn't like using his magic to summon them. I kind of saw that as he was like kind of like praying to a god for help.
So what happened with why the Gandalf why the Gandalf why Gandalf has influence over the Eagles is that there was one time where one of the king of the Eagles god damn, this is fucking getting into some shit. The king of the Eagles had a thorn in his foot,
Oh.
and
So it's
yeah,
like Hercules and the lion.
yeah, so Gandalf pulls the thorn out of his foot or something. It's something weird like that. Maybe he had like a broken wing or something, and Gandalf basically fixes him. And that's how Gandalf has garnered influence over the Eagles. So,
You know what I just kind of thought about is you want probably why Ranger is such an overpowered class in D&D is probably because Ranger was so overpowered in fucking Lord of the Rings.
yeah, so like the
Maybe.
Rangers of the North, that's Aragon and his legacy
Yeah.
basically. So the Rangers of the North used to like man the Black Castle or the Black Wall, the Black Gate. Sorry, Jesus,
And like
the Black
defend it.
Gate. Yeah, and they would be the ones that defended against all of the
Well,
orcs and shit. If you
that's the
ever
whole
play,
thing.
oh,
Go
sorry, go
on.
ahead. If you ever play Shadows of Mordor, it actually has a lot of lore in that too. And
Yeah.
you're playing as a ranger of the north, and they're I think a direct descendant of uh,
Aragorn.
or one of Aragon's descendants. No, Aragon would be a descendant of this guy because this guy's old.
Yeah, because yeah,
You might.
Because yeah,
I was just gonna say though, you might be right about the D&D influence because Rangers are so crazy in D&D because like they're great at combat. They have the whole animal control thing. They can track, and they also can use magic.
yeah,
So
they're insane, man.
yeah,
So I don't know. Book two, the Trents are cool. It's you got some funny moments with Pippin and Merrin and them. Uh,
Pippin
they're
and
the
Merry.
they're the comedy relief duo of this
Yeah,
series.
although Legolas and
They're the
Gimli have
bulk and
some.
skull of the Lord of the Rings universe.
Legolas and
Gimli
Gimli
have
are
some.
yeah.
So the
Well, they're
way,
kind of like a bickering odd couple.
well, it's because the dwarves and the elves fucking despise each other. I can't say this enough. They fucking hate each other. The elves and
Yeah.
the dwarves. They like. It's surprising that in the fellowship meeting or whatever, they didn't just fucking all out attack each other. No, I'm just kidding. They wouldn't do that, but they despise each other. They would rather
Garrett
not
took it
even.
way too far.
Well, yeah, it's like
They would
one's
rather just not deal with each other because the elves feel like the dwarves betrayed them. The dwarves feel like the elves betrayed them, and no one wants to say sorry. So
is it
the
too late to
fellowship.
say you're sorry? Because I'm missing more
Um,
than your body. Go on.
Uh-oh.
Go on.
um, so fuck, I forgot where I was at. They hate each other. So it's really rare that you'd find a dwarf and an elf that like each other. So that's it's like a miracle that
They
Gimli and
eventually,
Legolas are like best friends.
yeah, they
They even say
eventually
it in the movie. Yeah.
form a mutual respect.
Yeah, they even say it in the movie, like, did you ever think you would die? Blah blah blah. And it's like, no, but I never thought I'd die standing next to a dwarf either, or something like that. So
Well, they're just
they
best. The whole movie is about everyone being best friends.
it's all about friendships.
Friendship
But
is magic.
I was gonna bring up one thing, but that's from the third movie. But we'll get that in a minute.
um
But
and well yeah, just one more thing about Fellowship or not Fellowship, Two Towers.
yep,
Um Saruman dies.
yep. Right at the
And that's pretty
beginning,
cool.
right?
Uh
Gandalf comes and
I
he
think
just
the
like throws
middle.
him off the tower, right?
He doesn't throw him off the tower. In the movie, I believe there's that worm tongue guy, the guy that was influenced Theoden King
Okay.
of Rohan, and that guy in the movie, I believe, is the guy that pushes Saruman off the tower.
Okay.
Or think.
You love that.
And guys, we haven't talked about where Sam and Frodo are in the second
In
one
the
at all.
second book, the first movie ends with them just leaving.
Well, because Frodo doesn't want to involve anyone because he just saw Boromir like get fucked.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's
He
like, I don't
wants
want
to.
anyone else. I can do this by myself.
Yeah, he
I'm
wants to
I'm
carry
a
the
big
burden on
I'm a
himself.
big Hobbit boy.
Yeah, and then Sam is
Um,
like
Sam's
tucked
like,
away in his backpack or some shit, and he's like, "Surprise, I'm here."
yeah, and then Merry and Pippin get kidnapped, so the other guys have to go rescue them. They're like, oh, well, this fellowship didn't even last half a fucking movie.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like we have to go save Merrin and Pippin, not go after the fucking two hobbits with the ring.
Because Aragon was like, well, they made their decision. Well, we'll let them live with it.
That's a bad decision. It's like, what if like the Black Riders just came and slaughtered them like 10 feet in front of them, and then they just have the ring?
I mean, that could have happened, but it didn't.
So what?
Mike, they
I
won.
I actually don't remember what Sam and Frodo do in the second movie because it's all
In
about
the
Helm's
second,
Deep.
yeah. So in the mines of Moria, they encounter. I think that's the first time Smeagol or Gollum is
Right.
seen.
That's
So
the other thing.
basically,
Is
Smeagol just follows them the whole time.
like okay, so Smeagol's his corrupted name, and
No, Smeagol is his Hobbit
Hobbit
name.
name. Yeah, like both
Gollum is the
those.
corrupted
Yeah, both
name.
those names are so like
Well,
evil
like,
sounding.
Well, Smeagol sounds like smegma, which is not a really good thing to be
Well, like
fucking
I don't know.
naming.
I
I
feel like his name should have been like Freddy, and he's like this nice little guy, right? And then he becomes evil and
well,
Gollum.
okay. So in the prequel, not prequel, opening scenes of the third movie, you see Smeagol and his friend Deagle, which Deagle doesn't sound like anything other than a fucking desert eagle. Like
Or
that's
like
what Deagle
Diesel
reminds
or
me of.
something. Yeah.
And like, so obviously hobbits don't have the best names. I mean, one of them's named Dildo Baggins. So what do you expect?
Wait, is it actually dildo?
No, it's
No.
Bilbo.
Oh,
That was
I
just a
thought maybe
joke
that
I
was
made in
like
like.
dildo was like some character from The Hobbit.
Oh no. But yeah, so I mean,
So there's
hobbits don't have the best names to begin with.
I read a theory once that basically anyone getting corrupted by the ring, it's not that they're getting basically they're turning into the same being. There's like someone there's like a mind or like an essence or something that you turn into.
Yeah, Sauron. Because Sauron's essence, he jizzed on the ring, and his essence was put in
Is
the
this
ring.
Sauron like but like it's like that whole Gollum like my precious that's like the person that they're turning into.
They don't turn. I think Gollum just turned into that because like he would rarely wear the ring, and the ring, like I said, has a mind of its own. It knows where it needs to be and when.
Yeah.
So go
So the
ahead.
ring wanted to die.
The ring didn't want to die. The ring did not think that Frodo would win. Because
Oh.
of friendship, Frodo won.
Because
Otherwise, Frodo would have
Frodo.
collapsed on the side of the mountain and, never would have made it into Mount Doom. I
Right,
mean,
because Frodo
honestly,
had
Frodo doesn't
Sam.
even Frodo doesn't even put the ring in the lava. Like Frodo fucking puts the ring on and tries to run, and then
Yeah.
Gollum shows up, and that's when Frodo and him finally battle, and
Yep.
Gollum falls in the
Snaps
falls
off
into
his
Mount Doom.
finger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking bites off his finger,
Dude,
which
I was
is
like so happy seeing that little fucking shit rat fall into the lava, man.
Also, how awesome was American Dad's parody of that with Roger in the
Oh yeah.
place of
Yeah,
Gollum?
he's
And he
like
falls in, and it's like all dramatic, and then he's just like, "Okay, that's not a real fire; it's a fan blowing plastic strips."
yeah. So, as we move into the third book, I'm going to talk about the ending. The fucking scene where where like Frodo wakes up from his like one
His
week
little coma.
nap, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all like one by one rushing in and like hugging him and shit, and
And Sam peeks his head around the door and gives him that very gay look.
and like him and like the Gandalf like nodding to each other, uh, fucking hilarious. It's trying to be like really emotional and shit, but it goes on way too long because it's every fucking character that like you
Yeah, I
ever
remember that
saw.
movie had such a long like ending
Yeah.
coda, if I'm using that word correctly.
Oh
It
yeah,
went
there's
on.
like four like fades to black, and then like you think, oh, it's credits, but no, something else happens. Um, but I
by
like
the way, the book, like, it doesn't all end happy and rosy like that. In the book, the hobbits go back to the Shire, and Saruman is leading like these men and basically enslave the Shire, and then the hobbits rebel and like try and take it back over and everything, and they end up killing, I think, Saruman.
oh.
But like, doesn't end all rosy and cheeky like it does in the book. I mean, eventually it does,
Well, it doesn't
but
really
it takes
end
a little bit more time.
that nice because a lot of them go on that boat, which is like them
No,
dying.
only Frodo and Gandalf go on the boat,
Yeah, and
and Legolas,
isn't that
I
them
think. No.
essentially dying?
So they go to the Undying Lands, which is like the Elvish heaven or something. I don't fucking
Okay.
know, man.
Okay, what I
But
wanted to
they can never
say
return.
about yeah, but what I wanted to say about the that scene where he wakes up is there's like a meme or whatever where it's like when your friend finally gets laid and it's like it's like Gandalf looking at Frodo and like smiling and nodding and like Frodo's all like wide-eyed and happy.
That's awesome.
Other than that, the third book, it's got a couple cool fights.
The Battle of the Black Gate, dude, that's like one of the coolest fights.
Yeah.
Also, the Pelennor Fields, which is excuse me, the one with the giant fucking
Like,
mammoths.
yeah, really cool.
But I think the Battle of Black Gate, that's also like one of my favorite ones because like they're just completely surrounded by all these orcs and shit. They're just like trying to fight them off for as long as they can, and like eventually the Nazgul come. And basically, they're doing this just to give Frodo more time because the Eye of Sauron is on the Black Gate and not on the hobbits, killing
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a great battle.
It is. I don't know. It's the more I think about it, like, yeah, it's okay. It has some good moments.
They're good movies, man. You can like the movies and not be a fanboy.
I just don't. Not. I just think they're too long, and there's not enough. I don't know. There's no. I
What's
don't
there not
know.
enough of? Huh? Huh? What's there not enough of?
I don't know.
This
I don't know
movie's
how to
got fucking
explain it.
everything, Mike.
It's like okay, so one of my favorite. Okay, my favorite movie of all the time is The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and it's fucking long as shit, and it's really slow paced, but you learn so much about the two main characters,
It's
and
those
like
two main characters.
everything that they go through is important
Why don't you read a
to
fucking book, Mike, and
the
then you'll
ending.
get involved in these characters.
Okay, yeah, maybe I should read the book, but watching the movies, it's just like there's not enough time put to like one important things. Most of the time is just like fight scenes, and those are entertaining and they're really well done. But like
Most of the
by
time
the
is
end
just
of it,
fight
by
scenes.
the
Are
end
you?
of it, all you know is like Sam is obsessed with Frodo. Sam likes potatoes. Sam doesn't like Golem, and then that Sam has like the best line in the movie and
He
basically
doesn't
saves the day.
doesn't have the best line.
What's the
One
best
does
line in
not
the movie?
walk into Mordor is the best line.
No, the best
Like
line is
there have
How
been
that
I
was
times,
can't
how that
there
was
have
I
a
been
can't
meme
carry
for
the
like
ring, but
there
I
eight
have
can
been
years.
carry
memes
you.
about that.
That's the
There's
best.
fucking
That's the best line.
memes about one does not simply walk into Mordor. Like no, because there's even been memes about, and I'll give you my axe and my bow. Like whatever. I think the first movie has the best like
My
one
favorite
liners.
my favorite meme is what are their Pippin and what's the other one?
Peregrine took and
Mary,
Meriadoc Brandy or something.
Pippin,
Mary and Pippin.
Marin.
So Mary and Pippin, it's like hipster Mary and Pippin, and it's a picture of them wearing hipster glasses, and they're saying he doesn't know about second breakfast.
That's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I like that one. um. Anyways, so anything else to say on the third book? We missed a lot of shit, but
Yeah,
we've
we
only got an hour to do this.
yeah, we're basically almost out of fucking time at this
I
point.
Just
do
just touch
I
the tip of the iceberg on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I do think it's cool how when Sam fought that spider. That was cool.
Oh yeah, that was Sam's one shining moment, other than when he
Yeah.
freed Frodo.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like
Sam's
because
pretty hard as fuck, man.
Sam basically, without Sam, would have been fucked. Might as well have given the ring to Sam, and Sam would have fucking just charged up to the fucking Black Gate, slammed through it, and taken it into Mount Doom. Like,
Yeah. I was just
Frodo.
gonna say, and I'm gonna go first with this one because we're gonna get into one of our last topics is favorite character and villain, and I'm gonna have to say I think my favorite character is Sam.
All right, all right. You got a favorite villain, or do you want to explain? Well, we already know why it's
Yeah,
Sam.
we
Yeah.
I yeah, and villain like I don't know. Like
I don't
Golem
know if
annoys me. Like let's just say Saruman.
Saruman, the wizard,
No, the guy, the other one.
big bad guy,
Sauron.
Sauron.
Sauron. Yeah. Sorry, I went out of order. Garrett, you go. It was
So
just a
my
good
favorite
segue.
character is Gandalf, just because like he's this all powerful, well, not all powerful, but like this super badass. Like
Relatively
dude.
powerful.
Once he becomes Gandalf the White, he's pretty fucking all powerful.
Yeah.
And like even whenever I play MMOs and shit, I never played the right class first. And WoW, I played like a druid for years, and then I became a warlock, and I just fucking loved it. So I love spellcasters, but I never fucking play spellcasters first in any game I play. It's so
Yeah.
weird. I don't understand why I don't, because I like spellcasters the most. So that's why I like Gandalf the most.
Dude, that's like with WoW. It's like I played how many classes before I finally played a warrior? Even like 14. I love my warrior, I think, more than any other class I played.
Yeah, and I like my scholar quite a bit. I do like healing, so it's all right. But I don't know if I can pick a favorite villain. There's not a lot of villains to choose
The
from.
only one that really gets any amount of screen time is Golem.
Saruman gets quite a bit. Sauron gets some. I'm gonna say that one Urukai that shoots Boromir 3 times in the movies. That's my.
Yeah, orc number 72.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got a name because he was like the leader of the
Oh yeah, he's
Urukai.
like the scary one with the face paint.
Yeah.
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 That or the one during the Battle of Helm's Deep, or it might even be Minas Tirith. I forget which one. They're launching. I'm pretty sure it's Minas Tirith actually. Whatever. Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, he's got that ugly fucking face, and he's got like his arm in a sling, and they launch like a piece of building at him in like a fucking trebuchet or something, and he's just like staring at it as it's coming straight for him, and at the last moment he steps out of the way and spits on.
Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I
That's
forgot what battle that
badass.
was, but
I think that's
that was
Helm's
pretty
Deep.
funny. Yeah, I think it is Helm's Deep, but
So, Eric.
Eric.
Favorite character? Hard for me to say. I guess maybe I'll go with Mary and Pippin just because I thought they were funny.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I kind of liked their comedy relief. But I also like how they had some development, and by the end of it, they were actually pretty good fighters.
Yeah, they get serious and like they're the
Yeah,
reason that the Trents join him and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, they played a important part, you know.
And for villain, I'll also go with Sauron just because of I don't know, like to me, like who else could you pick? He's like the major
Yeah.
villain, and like we said, a lot of the villains don't get all that much screen time or development. And Golem, like I said, I appreciate the effect. He was cool, but also he was fucking annoying, which was kind of the point. But still, that makes him a bit less likable,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
All right. Um,
One thing I
I think
wanted to bring up was I really should just get it and play it as I always wanted to play the game you mentioned before, Garrett.
oh
Shadows of
like
Mordor.
oh, it's such a good game. It was so
Yeah,
much
it
fun.
looks amazing.
Is it
Super
is it
competitive.
MMO?
I know it's an RPG.
It's like
Huh.
an action RPG, and it had like this really cool system called the Nemesis system, where there'd
Yeah.
be like named kind of orcs and bosses within groups, and if you killed them, you would like, I guess, level up.
Well, you could mark them because in Middle Earth, you are this Ranger of the North, but you're also like the ghost of Celebrimbor, the
Okay.
guy that made the rings. And so you can mark them whenever you're the Wraith of Celebrimbor or something, and basically you have dominion over them then. And they're so see of it like you're building a mob, and the other orcs are your mob bosses, and you're trying to take out Sauron's mob bosses to take over basically all of Mordor.
Oh.
It's really fucking cool though, because if you kill an enemy in battle, sometimes they'll come back because you didn't actually kill them.
Yeah, yeah, they'll
And
hunt you
they'll,
down and shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have like a bounty on your head or something, and
Hmm.
sometimes they'll kill you. But it's okay in the lore if you die because you're a wraith type thing. I think this will happen, and so they'll have more people join them because they'll be known as like the wraith killer or something.
Yes.
So it's a really cool system. They're
Yeah.
like revamping it completely for the new game that's coming out sometime next year, this year I think.
I think next year.
But yeah, it's a pretty cool system,
Yeah.
and it was a really fun game. It's kind of a hack and slash, kind of like The Witcher 3
Yeah.
in combat style anyway. But it's a really fun game.
Yeah. People say like just from the Nemesis system, like it's just worth playing. Like it's hands down the best thing about the game, and it looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and also ton of lore, shit ton of lore is in those games.
Interesting. Well, I guess that's it for Lord of the Rings, eh, boys? I think we'll have to revisit Lord of the Rings for sure, because like
Yeah, like
we didn't talk about like anything.
yeah, we really
Well, there's a lot of these topics we try to get into. There's so much to go through that when you add up, we have an hour limit and we're bound to go off on tangents. You know,
Oh,
a
we
lot of these
stayed on
things,
topic with this
a
one, and
lot of
we
these things
barely
will
talked
need,
about anything.
well, a lot of these things will need multiple episodes to go through everything that we want to
yeah,
go through.
like we could do an episode over like each of the books.
Yeah.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
Well, I've been
but
thinking about revisiting Star Wars pretty soon.
fuck Star Wars. Star Wars is gay. Without Lord of the Rings, there wouldn't be a Star Wars. Lord of the
I don't know
Rings
Mm,
is
about that, but
basically or Star Wars is basically just a copy and paste of Lord of the Rings, except in space.
oh, so like yeah, the X fighter shooting the torpedo into the Death Star. That's like them throwing
That's
the ring
like
in the lava.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Sauron is the Emperor, and
Yeah.
Saruman is Darth Vader.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're fucking identical.
When it comes down to it, basically every story is the same fucking thing.
Yep. Everyone's got a villain and everyone's got a hero. Like,
Yep.
oh, also, I just want to thank Lord of the Rings because you inspired one of the greatest, another great book series turned TV show, Game of Thrones. So,
Mm.
thank you for that, Tolkien. George R. R. Martin actually adopted another R in his name because of Tolkien.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, as a
Cuties.
homage. But anyway,
Yeah.
Mike's making fun of something I care about,
No,
so
I was being sincere. It's
we
adorable.
need to we need to end the
It's a
show before I start crying.
Aw, it's a good that's a good tribute to a wonderful writer.
Yeah,
Let us know in your comments what your favorite Lord of the Rings character is.
and your favorite, just whatever Lord of the Rings thing
Sure,
is.
just talk about Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
All right. Good night, everyone.
see you next time.
Bye.